Shalom Alechem Uvrachim Boachem Lelechhe Sefas Ivrim. Peace be upon you and blessings your coming to the lessons of the Hebrew language. So I decided to redo this video since now I have access to my on-screen pin. אז נחלה נא לקרוא את סוף שיחה בין המורה ובין תלמידים. שלום תלמידים, שלום מורה. לא שמעתי את קולכם. מה אמרתם? אמרנו שלום מורה. טוב, טוב. נחלה נא לספור יחדיו. הטוב זה? כן מורה, זה טוב. אז שנו החריפי. ראשון, אחד. ראשון, אחד. שני, שני. שלישי, שלישי. רביעי, רביעי. חמישי, חמישי. שישי, שישי. שביעי, שביעי. שמיני, שמיני. תשעי, תשעי. עשירי, עשירי. ראשונה, ראשונה. שתי, שתי. שלישית, שלישית. רביעית, רביעית. חמישית, חמישית. שישית, שישית. שביעית, שביעית. שמינית, שמינית. תשעית, תשעית. עשירית, עשירית. אז יש לנו פה שיחה בין מורה ובין תלמידים. שיחה in Hebrew means conversation. Okay? בין, between. מורה, someone who teaches. ובין, and, between, disciples or students. Okay? Now using bin in Hebrew, you have a noun, bin, which is between, a noun, and between, another noun. So let's say if I wanted to say my house is between your house and his house. Okay, just for a simple sentence, what would I do? So, actually, let's put this back. Now that we have the equation here, okay, let's put Basi bin ביתך ובין ביתו. ביתי בין ביתך ובין ביתו. My house is between your house and between his house. Okay? So this is the equation for that. That was one way of saying between and between. There is one more way of saying that. So if I wanted to write, forgive my ugly penmanship, actually let's put it Beini Levin Yitzchok. Okay, so Sicha Beini Levin Yitzchok. Okay, so Sicha Beini leven Yitzhak. That's another way of saying, instead of using uven, you use leven. Okay? So sicha beini. Sicha is a conversation, so a conversation between myself, or between me, and between Isaac. Okay? Sicha beini leven Yitzhak. Sicha beini uven, and then you say Yitzhak. Okay? So either or. So let's get started. Now in blue we have more. In red we have hat-talmidim. Okay? Shalom talmidim, more says. Shalom, more, talmidim say. Okay? Now they say it unenthusiastically. They say it without any type of vigor. Now because of that response, the teacher then says, Lo sham'ati es cholchem ma amartem. Now we went over shalom many times, right? So let's start with lo. Lo in Hebrew is a negative. Okay? It can be translated as no, won't, depending upon the word that follows. Okay? So we're just gonna say it's a negative. Shama'ati is I heard, I listened. Okay? However, in this context, it's not I listened, it's I heard, right? Coupled with the negative I didn't hear. Okay? F, this is a direct object marker. Okay? So if I have a proper noun, or a noun which belongs to a proper noun, like my hand, yadi, my voice, koli, so on and so forth, then you will use that, F. Okay, same thing if you have a land, you will use S. Kol. Let's get rid of that. Kol is voice or sound. Okay, in Hebrew, kol. Chem, this here is a suffix that is affixed or suffixed to a noun, okay? And sometimes to verbs. So this is you, plural, okay? And I like to write rabbim here, okay? So you, plural. This is singular, or you can write the yod for yachid. So this is singular, this is plural. Kol chem. If I wanted to say your voices, I would have written kolothechem, okay? Kolothechem. This is your voices, this is your voice. So in actuality, in idiomatically, this means I didn't hear you. In actuality, this would be I didn't hear your voice, okay? So remember, this is a negative, this is a positive right here. This is the direct object marker. This is your voice. Because of this, it should be pe echad, as in unison, one voice. Well, actually one mouth, but one voice, okay? So this is mouth, this is one. Literally, this would be one mouth. Idiomatically, this will be one voice or in unison, okay? Let's continue. Ma amartem. What? Right? And this is said you. Okay? Amartem. If I wanted to say I said, amarti. That's better. Amarti. This would be me amarti. If I wanted to ask, what did you say? Male singular. It'll be me amarta. Me amarta. Female singular. Me amart. This is plural here. And this is only affixed or suffixed to verbs. Okay? This ending only to verbs. Okay? Only. This one can be for verbs. And actually I should put what's used mostly. So nouns, verbs, and then so-called adjectives. Okay, so-called adjectives. We'll get into that at another time. Okay, so what is this saying? I didn't hear you. What did you say? Because of their unenthusiasm. Now guess what this says? Amarnu. Amarnu. Now remember, this is the disciples. Hatalmidim. They're saying this, right? Amarnu shalom more. Amarnu. We said, or we saith. Okay. Said, or we saith. Peace or health. Someone who teaches, okay, or teacher. Tov, tov. Now, once you see these two, usually, when you see two nouns together, it depends on what type of noun it is. It means gradual intensity, okay? But here, I mean, it depends on how you say it, when you say it, and within which context, okay? So tov tov, good good. That's literally, idiomatically, this would be fine, great, well, affirmative. Continue on, okay? Nahla na lispor yah dal. Hatov, right? Nahla, we have here, put it here. Nahel, and Nahel is we will begin, we will commence, we will start. Okay, so that's nahel. Now once you want someone to allow you to do something, it becomes nahla. Okay, and usually this is coupled with hava. Hava is come on or let's. Okay, and this is let's begin, commence, start. Hava nahla or nahla. Okay, then you have na here. Na is not that easy to translate all the time. This I call a softener. It makes the sentence or what you're saying humble. It's showing humility. So nahala, let's start, or let us start, let us begin. Please, this is mostly translated as please. Lespor comes from, wait, let's not do it that way. Lespor comes from sa, for, okay, and this is to count. So safor, this is the infinitive for those who are a bit more advanced, and then you have safar, okay? This is the actual verb, kal verb, or ba'al, okay? This one is not. So safar is he counted. Now in Hebrew you have complete and incomplete actions, and it's very easy to get lost within that. Okay, so it's complete, and then you have incomplete actions. And actions are the verbs, right? Action words are verbs. So complete and incomplete actions. Now, or you can say state as well. So in modern Hebrew, there is actually a past, present, and future. That's why you will always hear ani holech, ani chore, ani mechafes, ani mesaper. You will always hear the ing, because it mimics a lot of European languages, okay? So with classical Hebrew, it's a bit more, I don't like saying a bit more complicated, but it's complicated in the way how we understand now, because majority of people speak English, all right? So incomplete actions, they have not occurred yet. They might occur in the future. They are maybe occurring in the present, and for past, it's usually not used, okay? Usually not used. For complete, it's usually used for past tense, or actions that have been completed state. It's in a state that of completion. Okay, so let's say if I wanted to say I walked. Halachti is I walked. I was walking as well. Is halachti. Now this action could have been completed in the past, in the near past, or will be completed in the future prophetically. Only prophetically, okay? Complete is usually used for past actions. Incomplete is usually used for future actions. And then you have the participle. So let's say you have this verb, right? Halach. Halach is he went, he walked. For simplicity's sake, we'll leave it as that. So, halach, right? Then you have holech. He walks. He is walking. Okay, and I really don't like using is. And then you have yelich. He will might, shall, sometimes must, may, perhaps, plans. Okay? So again, this is completed action. This one here, in progress. And this one is incomplete. The funny thing is, this one here, the one that's in progress, the participle, can be used for what we call now past, what we call now present, and what we call now future. So I can say hu holech, and this will turn into either he was walking, he is walking, or he will be walking. In modern Hebrew, this is only he is walking, or he walks. That is it. Because it's been split into past, present, future. Depending upon context, and you have to get into reading a lot and speaking Hebrew, classical Hebrew, a lot. Okay? Which is a feat in itself. It can be done. So that's how you use. Going forward, you should keep that in mind. Bear that in mind, okay? So we have that. Yahdao, right? So this is. Let's do this way. Come on. Let us please start. Commence. Begin to count. And yahdal is together. Okay? Hatov, this here, this he right here, is a question mark. Now I write it like this, much like how it is in Arabic. This is a question mark, so sometimes it's written, sometimes it's not. Same thing when you're speaking in conversation. You may or may not want to use it. You may want to omit it. You go up an octave, taze, and a person will know that you were asking a question. Okay? So this translates as is this or is it fine? Okay, good. And the students, the disciples, hat-talmidim, they say kin, which is yes, so it's an affirmative. And the students, again, they say ze tov. This is fine, this is good. Okay? In modern Hebrew, yes, there are terminologies for this. Beseder, besurah, betach. Okay? But just like how we speak, we have one word that means so many things. Okay? And unless you're within that culture, you wouldn't know. Az shenu harifi. Az is so well. Also, shenu. This comes from this verb. Shana. Okay. And this is, I'll just write the one definition for here. And I shouldn't. He repeats or repeated. Okay. And then I'll put this here. Shano as to repeat. Okay. Shana, he repeats, he repeated, and shano, to repeat. The other infinitive, okay, so again, this is for people who do know, will be lishnoth. Okay, this is the other infinitive. So there are two in Hebrew, classical Hebrew, there are two. Modern Hebrew uses this one. For a time, it uses that one. Okay, so ahare is after. And then P, my mouth. Okay. Ahare fi, because of the yod cancelling out the dagesh. Okay. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it isn't. Again, I'll make a video for those who want pertaining to that. Okay. So P comes from pe, right? P, my mouth. Picha, your mouth, and your mouth, and this is masculine singular. Okay. Actually, let's put it this way. Zachar, and then we have the Yachid. Okay. So Pich, this is your, again, Nekeva, and then Yachida here. So that's female singular. Okay. And then if I wanted to say our mouth, not mouths, but our mouth, it will be Pi mu. Okay. Now guess what? Your mouth would be plural. Okay. Not plural mouths, but you plural. It'll be Pichem. Notice how the accent is different. Picha. Pihu. That's another one here. Pihu is his mouth. Okay. His mouth. Our mouth. Your mouth. And this is plural. Okay. So pe, pi, picha, pich, pihu, pinu, pichem. Again, notice how the accent is different. Pichem, pihu, pinu, pichem, pichen. The accent changes. Their mouths, pihem, much like chem. Everything else pretty much stays the same, except when it comes to their and your. And your plural, I'm talking about. So pihem, pichem, pinu, picha, pi, pich. Okay, the accent is here. The accent stays here now on the plural endings. Okay? So repeat after me. Az shenu ahare fi. Right? So you don't really need this. You can say aharai. And this is after me. After you, after him, after her, you add the suffixes in Hebrew. Okay, so this will be a suffix, just like how you have picha, your mouth, pich, your mouth, feminine singular. The same thing with ahar, which is where it comes from, okay? Ahar, you add on whichever suffix. So ahar, and then you have aharai, aharecha, aharaich, aharau, ahareha. Okay, so this is me, you, him, her. Okay, so aharai, aharecha, aharaich, aharau, and then ahareha. Ahareha. Okay, and then you continue adding on chem, chen, nu, hem, hen, for those on that level. Okay, now Rishon, we have here, yes, Rosh, which is head, which is first, beginning. That is why it's first in Hebrew. Now, for those of you, I will make a video pertaining to the endings. Some of the endings are known, some of them are not. Rishon, there are a lot of endings in Hebrew. As to why it's there, what it means, and things like that, I will get into that in the comprehensive videos for you. Okay, so this is first. Same thing, Rishona. You have, here's the feminine, right? You have the Qamis, and then you have the He. You have the Tau, 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 which majority of times on words, it indicates femininity. Okay? And notice how you have yods, 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 and that's masculine, okay, because there's no ending here.